What I'm saying is that there are two narratives about black disadvantage: a bias narrative and a development narrative. Okay, and I'm saying that the issue is development. Okay, so bias is what it is, and we know about racism, we know about white supremacy. Nobody's discounting that. We know about discrimination, we know about exclusion, we know about underrepresentation. Bias, anti-discrimination, the idea of equal rights, civil rights. Okay, nothing wrong with that. That's a great thing. All right. The issue today is development. The jails are full of people. You've got two narratives. The system, Michelle Alexander, or families and communities failing to nurture and develop their young people so that they're able, socialized, and fit to occupy civil society. And they're incarcerated. That's another narrative, okay? If we don't address the developmental disparities, look at the African-American family, okay? Now, you see people, they're going to go off on some kind of wild tangent. I'm talking about 65 or 70% of kids born to unmarried women. You can't tell me that that doesn't matter. It matters. There could be many explanations for it. Don't try to ignore that fact. Development. The test scores, this whole edifice that we've built of diversity and inclusion is founded on a lie, John, because the issue is performance, and the Asians have demonstrated that. The facts are so palpable that it amazes me that people can't look at them. The Asians have demonstrated. These are people who are second-generation descendants from people who were born 10,000 miles from here. It's an open society. African-American underrepresentation is a reflection of African-American underdevelopment. Now, we can go into the historical reasons for that. If the issue is who is to blame, there'll be plenty enough blame to go around. But the fundamental imperative is to enhance development, and that won't happen unless you acknowledge the absence of it. The test scores reflect an inadequate acquisition of functional and cognitive capacities essential to functioning in the modern world. And the gaps are enormous, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm saying development versus bias, okay? I also had to have an intellectual thing to my economists. I mean, that's the other thing that I will say here. I'm rooted in a discipline. I'm talking about hundreds of departments around the world and tens of thousands of scholars. Okay? There's a literature. You refer to the work that has gone before. You operate within a framework in which there has been elaborated carefully a set of insights, assumptions, presumptions, techniques, and methods, concepts that have been tested on a global basis for centuries. Okay? Kenneth Arrow was a genius. The honor of being able to give that lecture, before the assembled multitudes, they had a symposium at the university, the day-long symposium with a half dozen or more panels of people presenting short talks based on ideas that had been inspired by Kenneth Arrow. He has 6 or 8 of his students are Nobel laureates. That's the real deal. It's the actual university. It is the elite venue where the frontiers are being advanced, okay? How many students of Cornell West are functioning at that level? How many students of Henry Louis Gates Jr. are functioning at that level? I'm not even talking about Ta-Nehisi Coates. The Afro Studies hustle, the avoidance of the necessity of failure against standards in order for the standards to be meaningful, and for the kind of disciplines and capacities that constitute excellence to be honed and developed. It's a shell game. It's a lie. Okay? That's what I'm saying. To say that the jails are full of black people means that the criminal justice system is racist, and to leave it at that? When the bodies pile up in Chicago and elsewhere? To talk about diversity and inclusion is the way of legitimating and institutionalizing a deferential and racist withholding of judgment from African American people to perform at the level of excellence that a place like MIT or Caltech or Brown or Columbia or Yale requires. I mean, I'm really, really angry about this because people are being dishonest about this in the interest of a coon show, John.